I'm Andre Huey with the latest edition of the SKN Newsline newscast. We focus most of our newscast today on the issue of COVID-19, or the coronavirus, which is a top concern for countries around the world as the virus spreads. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the authorities are attempting to assure the public that St. Kitts and Nevis can test for the novel coronavirus. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws has answered this critical question, noting that there will be private sector and public sector capability to test for COVID-19. SK Newsline's Glenn Bart attended a press conference called by the Ministry of Health on Monday at government headquarters.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws said St. Kitts and Nevis is prepared and ready for the novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, and can undertake testing within the Federation. Speaking at a press conference at government headquarters in Bastille, Dr. Laws informed the media that a total of 63 persons, incoming air travelers, were screened by the health desk at Robert L. Bratcher International Airport. The Chief Medical Officer indicated that 3 of the 63 have been quarantined at their homes, 6 have been quarantined at tourist facilities, and 50 persons are being monitored daily by the public health team. In addition, 2 incoming travelers were tested for the COVID-19 because they were coming from countries that have local transmission of the disease. She disclosed that both persons tested negative for the virus. Testing for COVID-19 is possible in St. Kitts and Nevis as a result of the facilities of a local private sector laboratory, and the Ministry of Health will soon have capabilities at the JNF General Hospital.
Now, the private sector, particularly Next Generation Medical Laboratory, is providing this local testing capability. I also want to inform the public that the Ministry of Health recently procured a gene expert machine, and our staff is presently being trained to use this machine, and so we will soon have local testing capabilities in our public sector, particularly at our JNF General Hospital, and this is a priority for the Ministry of Health.
Meanwhile, training for contact tracers will be undertaken, Dr. Laws stated. Contact tracers play a critical role in determining the links between persons who have become infected by the virus. In doing the process, other persons who were in contact with an individual can be traced and provided necessary medical attention, and, as a consequence, help to contain the spread of the disease. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Still on COVID-19, CARICOM officials on Sunday at a special emergency meeting in Bridgetown, Barbados, ramped up the region's response to the coronavirus, even as 3 non-English speaking countries confirm cases. More in this report. CARICOM announced that a regional protocol establishing minimum standards for dealing with the COVID-19 virus and other infectious diseases was approved during an emergency meeting on Sunday in Barbados. According to Prime Minister Mia Mottley, the chairperson of CARICOM, the regional protocol defines the roles and responsibilities of governments and the cruise line industry as it relates to COVID-19. She was speaking at a press conference after the meeting on Sunday.
To bear in mind that we are going to communicate with you. We don't know whether a vaccine will come in 12 months, 15 months. We don't know. But what we do know is that we are setting out clear boundaries and responsibilities for individual partners, and that we are going to try to increase our capacity to detect, increase our capacity to manage, increase our capacity to contain. And we are happy that the cruise lines have also agreed that where possible, they will also work to facilitate the taking of samples.
The Pan American Health Organization, Powell, revealed there were 3 cases of COVID-19 in the Dominican Republic, 2 cases in St. Martin, and 1 in St. Bart. Meanwhile, a representative of Carnival Cruises, who attended Sunday's emergency meeting, gave assurances that the organization will do all it can to ensure the safety of its passengers coming to the Caribbean as it relates to COVID-19.
And so these protocols that we have in place tend to serve us well. And of course, we fine-tune them, as we have in this case, for the specific disease or illness situation that arises, and in this case is COVID-19.
The CARICOM chairperson disclosed that an agreement was reached to establish a framework for an expanded Bureau of Heads of Government to start discussions with regional and international partners to ensure countries are prepared to tackle any eventuality. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. And as you would have heard in that report, there have been coronavirus cases confirmed on Friend St. Martin and St. Bart's. But as we hear in this report, despite assurances from the authorities on St. Martin that the patients have been quarantined at the Marigo Hospital, there is still a heightened sense of concern on the island. Members of the public on St. Martin are very concerned at the news of the confirmation of 2 coronavirus cases on Friend St. Martin. Authorities sought to allay fears in a press conference on Sunday after the confirmation of the cases was made public. St. Martin-based freelance journalist Andrew Bishop spoke to the information relayed by Prime Minister of Dutch St. Martin and other health authorities, confirming that the 2 persons who tested positive for the coronavirus were placed in quarantine at the Marigo Hospital.
We have 2 confirmed cases that came out of St. Bart's. The Emergency Operations Center, the EOC, has been activated in connection with these confirmed cases, the COVID-19 coronavirus. They are in isolation in the Marigot Hospital on the Friend side. There are no suspected cases or confirmed cases on the Dutch side.
Mr. Bishop, speaking on Freedom Radio's Issues program on Monday, said despite assurances from the St. Martin authorities, people are very concerned.
There were parents who said they are not sending their children back to school until something happens and they find a solution to the coronavirus. One parent said she is staying in her home and not coming out until they have found a solution to this virus. But if people are in panic and they are blaming the governments of French side and Dutch side for allowing the 2 patients to come to St. Martin. It's a very sober move here in St. Martin. Nobody wants to go anywhere. Nobody wants to go to the supermarket. The majority of people prefer to stay in and use what they have. So it's very concerning on this side of the island.
Meanwhile, Mr. Bishop was asked about a case involving a cruise ship that docked in St. Martin and its passengers flown out on a charter flight. Persons suspected that passengers on the ship had the coronavirus, but authorities said there were no suspected cases on board the ship. The ship was refused entry in the Dominican Republic.
Well, the Prime Minister, in the press conference yesterday, denied that there was anything wrong with the entry on Thursday, and the cruise ship had to turn around in St. Martin. It was very controlled. They had the immigration and everybody there, placed them from the cruise ship through the immigration on the buses to Juliana Airport, where these people were sent to their respective countries. The ship arrived yesterday. The ship had requested an emergency turnaround at Port St. Martin after the home port in La Romana, Dominican Republic, denied to entry on Thursday. Mm-hmm. But what the Prime Minister is saying is they had a quick turnaround and there were no persons suspected of coronavirus on board.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Hey, scan this. Boy, what that stand for?
We are St. Kitts and Nevis Waste Disposals.
Oh, so it's I just rent the big bin for when people cleaning the yard and construction project and so?
Yes, we do that.
Okay, so what about septic tank and grease trap cleanings?
Yes, we do that.
Them portable toilet rental?
Yes, we do that.
So what about if I want to rent a sexy bar trailer for like VIP events or my outdoors wedding?
Yes, we do that.
Residential garbage pickup?
Yes, we do that.
Okay. So if my office have a bunch of documents we need shredded?
Yes, we do that.
Boy, I talking to you and you know, but when you answer me, I hearing like 10 people.
That's just the strength of our team working for you. Watch now. Call us at 662-3329 and we'll come and do that for you.
Like us on Facebook.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like your boat when you're at sea and you get away from everything. Your home and the security of your daughter's things. And the car that you've had for too long, but after all these years, you just can't let go. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
You care about what goes on your skin. You care about the ingredients, organic and natural products. We have Rituals brand, Victoria's Secret, and much more. Discover the collection of prestige natural beauty. There are too many chemicals. Time to change. Go to Lucky's Duty Free at King's Pavilion Hotel on Bay Road, Bastia. Treat yourself as a princess. Also, Bath and Body Works coming soon. Check us out on Facebook. Open hours are from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Give us a call, 466-7059. Lucky's Duty Free.
Quality Diagnostic Laboratory, your newest partner in your healthcare. We offer the latest in on-island clinical laboratory testing. A comprehensive range of blood tests, urine tests, stool, and other testing such as cholesterol and sugar testing, as well as hormone, kidney, and liver functions, and many more. Quality Diagnostic Laboratory is located at the corner of Keon Street and Fines Avenue, opposite the Greenlands pasture. Our opening hours from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday are designed with you in mind. We are also open on Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. for your further convenience. Call or contact us at 465-6657 or email us at info@qualitydiagnosticlab.com. Quality Diagnostic Laboratory. Excellence in performance.
Banners, commercial signs, decal printing, canvas printing, license plates, posters. We at Multigraphics are dedicated to providing quality products and service to our customers. Our team takes pride in the craftsmanship and is passionate about its work. Every job, large or small, is important. Most of our customers come to us through referrals. That's because our number one priority is service. We serve a wide variety of customers, such as restaurants, retail stores, manufacturers, trucking companies, and many more. Our capabilities include design, production, and installation. How can we help? We are located at Bird Rock at the Woods Right compound. Call us at 869-763-1511 or 784-491-7599. Multigraphics.
Welcome back. Well, as we indicated, the coronavirus has been dominating the headlines in our newscast. This time, it's the opposition St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party that is expressing concern with the state of readiness of the health authorities should the virus spread on St. Kitts. More in this report from Glenn Bart.
Dr. Terence Rue, chairman of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, said the country might not be sufficiently prepared to tackle the novel coronavirus or COVID-19 should it spread to St. Kitts and Nevis. According to Dr. Drew, even developed countries are having much difficulty in containing the virus. He believes that assistance should be sought to ensure that resources are available to deal with the virus. Responding to an SKN Newsline query on his thoughts on the nation's preparedness, Dr. Drew, a medical doctor by profession, believes there is much more that needs to be done.
Our people should start to be prepared psychologically. That will give us the psychological preparedness and to build confidence in whatever plan is being put in place. And so I will call for more communication, more openness, more transparency with what is being put in place to deal with this virus. Why? The CDC has just warned that it's possible that there can be an outbreak in the United States of America. We know that most of our tourists and our international communication and so forth and relationship come from the United States of America in terms of transport, tourists, food, and many other things. So if it hits the U.S. and spread through the U.S., there will be no doubt that the Caribbean will be hit. I am saying today that we do not have the necessary specialists on the ground to deal with this. We do not have an infectious disease specialist. We do not have a respiratory specialist. We do not have respiratory techs. Most people might die from a respiratory failure. Do we have the necessary things in place to ensure there's protection at the border? Do we have numbers to call if we suspect anything? Where do we go? What do we do? The people have to be informed and updated. I'm very concerned about this, When I see what is happening in Iran, when I see what's happening in Europe, Italy, and when I see that the CDC is having nightmares, and now the World Health Organization is wondering if this would become a pandemic, and we see that Olympics are being threatened in Japan, our country, which is a small country, which would be devastated. Our healthcare system is so fragile because of its weakness and lack of resources and proper leadership, it will break. I am saying that our people have to say, let's put this politics aside now and work together to ensure that we can do it. I'm calling on the Ministry of Health again. I'm calling on the ministers of health. Take this warning seriously and let us put the necessary things in place to protect all of our people.
St. Kitts and Nevis is among several countries removed from the EU tax blacklist, disclosed Foreign Affairs Minister and Nevis Premier Mark Brantley. Glenn Bart has more.
Premier Mark Brantley revealed at a recent press conference that St. Kitts and Nevis has been removed from the European Union's tax group so-called blacklist. Over the past 2 years, the federal government and the Nevis Island administration worked urgently to put in place tax policies for the financial services sector on both islands that are in keeping with the requirements of the European Union. St. Kitts and Nevis was among several countries in the Caribbean that were blacklisted and given deadlines to complete legislative changes. The last deadline was met in late 2019 when the Nevis Island administration and the federal government went into their respective parliaments to make necessary changes to tax legislation for the financial services sectors in the Federation. At Premier Brantley's February press conference, he commented on what he called good news.
Some more good news, ladies and gentlemen. We learned around about February 19th that St. Kitts and Nevis was given a clean bill of financial health from the European Union. The so-called tax group, code of conduct group, gave us a passing grade and said that we are no longer on any list. They call a list black, I don't know why, but we are no longer on any list. Let me put it that way. Instead of saying blacklist, let me say bad list. We are not on any bad list. Now that for me is significant. It is very significant because you would recall that we were forced to go into the parliament here close to Christmas 2 years running in order to meet deadlines that were imposed. The federal government also had to go to the parliament over there and working together on the advice of our technical team, whom I would wish to give all the credit because they are the ones who told us what we should do. We accepted that advice, we went to the parliament, and the consequence is that the European Union has said to us, you have passed whatever the test it is that they have imposed. We have said to them, thank you, but in future, let us have some dialogue. Let us have a discussion. So that rather than taking punitive measures against small countries such as ours, let us first discuss what needs to be done and see how we can meet the concerns. But good news, nevertheless, that we no longer have to deal with that. And this, of course, follows on from October 2018, when the OECD Global Forum on Transparency and Exchange of Information published a second-round peer review report on St. Kitts and Nevis and gave us a grade of largely compliant. Largely compliant. That's a grade, I'm told, that United States and big countries like that have as well. So I think we're in good company.
It is hoped that these changes will help to bring about greater stability in the sector and avoid harsh penalties that could be imposed by the EU tax group. Glenn Bart for SKN Newsline.
Police are investigating an incident where a man was found dead on Nevis and another drowned in Dieppe Bay. More in this report. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a young man whose body was found lying along the roadside in Nugent Heights, Nevis. Police received the report Sunday morning at about 8:30 a.m. The body had visible signs of injury. The district medical doctor arrived on the scene and pronounced the man dead. The deceased has since been identified as 20-year-old Javon Brandy of Brown Hill. Members of the crime scene unit visited and processed the scene. Investigations are ongoing and an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death has been scheduled, police said. Meanwhile, police are also investigating an incident in which a man is believed to have drowned at sea. Anthony Jules, age 51, was last seen fishing on a raft at Dieppe Bay at around 8:30 a.m. on February 28th. Sometime thereafter, the raft was seen overturned in the water, and his body was found shortly after following a search. An autopsy is expected to be performed to determine the exact cause of death. Investigations into the matter are ongoing, police said. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Why read the news when you can watch it? Introducing SKN Newsline, the Federation's only online TV news platform. SKN Newsline is an online TV news platform covering news in St. Kitts and Nevis. We provide a daily and accurate news on the big stories and stories of interest that other media outlets have ignored. You can watch SKN Newsline on our website, www.sknnewsline.com, or Facebook page at www.fb.com/SKN Newsline, and also subscribe to our SKN Newsline YouTube channel. SKN Newsline, your world, your news.
KCK Enterprises at Boyd's Housing Development, Trinity Parish, St. Kitts. For all your t-shirt printing, banners and signs, promotional products, shipping, motivational speeches, computer classes, agro-processing, art and craft, and desktop publishing. Come to KCK Enterprises at Boyd's Housing Development, Trinity, St. Kitts. Telephone 661-0118 or 765-7270. Email drkhrystus@kvklives.com or visit www.kvklives.com. KCK Enterprises. Now you can have SKN Newsline on the go. Introducing SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Search SKN Newsline in the Google Play Store. Download the app free and stay up to date with TV news in St. Kitts and Nevis in the palm of your hands. With this app, you can watch your news reports, watch our live news feed on SKN Newsline TV, engage with us and other app users in the chat room, look at our special features, send us news tips, and call us directly. It's news on the go. The SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Download it free today.
Are you ready for the biggest gospel event ever? It's a God movement. The moment you've all been waiting for. Well, it's here. The God Movement presents their second annual all-white affair Jesus Party Boat Ride. On April 10th, Tortola comes alive with the best of the best. High Frequency Band out of Tortola. Blessed Messenger out of Trinidad and Tobago. Nisha Woods out of Barbados. Oni out of Tortola. Nigel Lopez out of Trinidad and Tobago. The God Movement out of Tortola. Jay Prince out of Trinidad and Tobago.
Everybody just dip. Do the name and dip. Rock and come in and dip.
And DJ JD out of St. Thomas will have you rocking. Zion Hill Steel Orchestra serenades you as you board the Cayman Seal at 5 p.m. Boat leaves from James Young Marina East End Tortola at 7 p.m. sharp. Early bird tickets available now at $40 and ends February 29, 2020. Regular tickets are $60. All you can eat and drink all night long. Remember, April 10th, the Jesus Party Boat Ride. See you there.
Listen the words of my song and dip. Do the name and dip.
The St. Kitts Nevis Football Association, SKN Newsline, and Voice of the Caribbean Radio present the SKNFA Match of the Week and Sunday Night Football. 2 days of comprehensive live football coverage. The SKNFA Match of the Week on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and Sunday Night Football at 7 p.m. on the Facebook pages of SKN Newsline and the SKNFA, and live radio commentary on Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Stay tuned to our halftime and post-game shows with analysis and interviews. It's live football on radio and online video stream. The SKNFA Match of the Week on Saturdays at 8 p.m. and Sunday Night Football at 7 p.m. Only on SKN Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio, taking football to another level. Welcome back. Lawyers representing the claimant in the case involving Grant and Powell are calling on Mr. Lindsey Grant and Janelle Powell to apologize for statements they made on a Freedom Radio interview where they commented on the matter that is before the court. Glenn Bart has the details.
Attorneys Lindsey Grant and Janelle Powell, both of the law firm Grant, Powell and Company, could face legal action should they fail to publicly apologize for statements they made on a recent radio talk show. Attorneys at law Mr. Sylvester Anthony and Mrs. Angelina Gracie Sukubob are demanding apologies for what they have deemed false and malicious statements of a defamatory nature made by Grant and Powell. In a letter dated 14 February 2020 from the law offices of Sylvester Anthony, Grant and Powell are accused of making the statements for political damage control. Grant is a minister of government in the serving Team Unity government, and Powell is an ambassador. Both are political candidates seeking to be elected in the upcoming 2020 general elections. Grant and Powell spoke on island issues on Freedom FM 106.5 in relation to claims brought against them by former client Tanzania Tobin Tanzil. On the radio program, Grant and Powell said they had done nothing wrong and indicated that the matter before the court is a consequence of procedural issues. According to Grant, the legal team for Tobin Tanzil had launched a, quote, political ploy, unquote, in an effort to, quote, sully our good names in this political season, unquote. However, the letter points out that public interest on Grant's and Powell's legal battles come as a result of their own actions and that they are both public figures. The letter stated that the only public comment made was on radio following a request by the media for clarification of the judge's ruling. The letter also pointed out that there was no collusion with the Labour Party. As such, Sylvester Anthony and Angelina Gracie Sukubob are demanding public apologies from Grant and Powell, or they could face legal charges. Glenn Bart for SKN Newsline.
Now to news in sports. There were several exciting matches on the weekend in the SKNFA Premier League, one of which saw league leaders Rams Village Superstars losing their first match of the season. We have this and another story on this weekend's Premier League. The unbeaten run of SKN Premier League leaders Rams Village Superstars was broken Saturday night after Saul Island Auto Supply's Connery FC defeated them 2-1 in a competitive encounter at the Warner Park. Connery took a surefire 2-0 lead at the end of the first half, putting Village, a team accustomed to putting their opponents to the sword, in unfamiliar territory. Village earned a lifeline in the second half from the penalty spot, but they were unable to get an equalizer and succumbed to Connery's game plan. We have highlights from the commentary provided by Voice of the Caribbean Radio and SKN Newsline. Your commentators are Essington Watts and LaShawn Dixon.
Here's Connery, cutting behind the defense. Could be a goal. It is. It's going to be a goal.
Yes, a goal.
Beautiful goal indeed.
A beautiful goal by Errol Lockley.
Absolutely beautiful.
Errol Lockley, number 20. He got behind the defense for Rams Village Superstars. He rounded the keeper and placed the ball beautifully in the back of the net as he and the Connery fans run over to the corner flag in the southwestern section of the Warner Park to celebrate a beautiful goal. As Ak finds space in the back, as he was back and red, Ak Mitchell found himself in some space and the ball eventually was tapped into the back of the net and the goal line. It's 2-0 to Saul Island Auto Connery, Rams Village Superstars.
And I think they're shell shocked at this moment. A very good goal indeed. It was Errol Lockley making one in the first instance, and he just, it was Kadeem Lewis reacted very quickly indeed and was able to get that one in the back of the net. So kind of leading this encounter 2-0.
He blows his whistle and he steps up and he sends Samuel the wrong way and runs and collects the ball as Rams Village Superstars break their duck and open the account for this evening to cut the Connery lead in half.
Scoring for Connery, Errol Lockley in the 23rd minute and Dakari Phipps in the 39th minute. Tyrone Hanley scored the lone goal for Village from the penalty spot in the 70th minute. After the match, coach Azim Jenkins of Connery lauded his players for sticking to the game plan.
I can't really go into much detail per se, but the guys execute. We try to take away the strengths.
but we just tried to compete. And it was a great game to watch, man. It was a great game to watch.
No, the team came out the blocks. They really put Village on a lot of pressure. And they seem to be getting on to the division because now this is your seventh straight win. What do you think is clicking for the guys for them to play this well?
Well, they're buying into what we're trying to do. What the coaching staff trying to do, they're buying in. Every game we've seen a little improvement. We're holding them accountable.
Assistant coach for Village, Alexis Richards, congratulated Connery for a good game and said his players were not on their best.
Well, first let me say congratulations to Connery team. You know what I mean, on the victory tonight. Well, I must say that it was a good game, and I mean, we didn't get it right. You know I mean, the first half, we went back to the more second half. You know I mean, work on certain things. Yeah, we see it happening. You know I mean, we get a goal, but yeah, you know, we got the better team win. We already know that it want to be a big game, a tough game. You know what I mean? We came to compete, but as I said, the better team won. Or we go back to the giant board, you know what I mean? We're going to think about it, recap, and then we go to the field and prepare for the next game.
In the other SKNFA Premier League matches on Saturday, Elko Limited Security Forces came from 3-1 behind to draw 3-3 with Mantab. Mantab took the lead from Jermaine Carey in the 5th minute, only for Marlon Morrison of the Security Forces to equalize. But then Sylvester Alexander doubled the lead for Mantab with goals in the 36th and 45th minutes, only for Daniel Francis and Lesbert Jeffries to equalize for Security Forces in the second half, in the 79th and 82nd minutes, respectively. In match number 2, a shocker as KFC United Old Road Jets edged Hobson Enterprises Garden Hotspurs 1-0. Kaylan Liebert scored the lone goal for Old Road in the 64th minute. The battle at the top half of the SKNFA Premier League table is heating up after a thrilling encounter between Flow 4GK and Rockets and SL Horsford St. Paul's. St. Paul's came from going behind 1-0 to deliver an impressive and stunning defeat of Keon 3-1 on Sunday in SKNFA Premier League action at the Warner Park. Keon missed a chance to go up 1-0 early in the first half when Vince Roy Nelson had his penalty kick saved by St. Paul's goalkeeper Jamal Jeffers. But Liberty Pemberton of Keon made sure his team went into halftime with a lead, with a glancing header into the back of the net in the 42nd minute. But then Keith Roy Freeman happened in the second half, scoring 3 brilliant goals in the 57th, 67th and 79th minutes. Keon again missed a penalty in the second half, this time from the boots of Javern Matthew, who skied his kick over the crossbar. Malik Roberts of Keon was sent off after receiving his second yellow card in the 90th minute. Here are highlights courtesy of SKN Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio that provided live coverage on Sunday. Attacking player, but yet still trying to create something. Cross comes in. Here's a chance now for Keon, and it's in the back of the net just before the stroke of halftime. It's Keon 1 and St. Paul's 0. The defenders there seem to have gone asleep, left it all up to the goalkeeper to try to save that one, but Jamal can only do so much and no more. It's 1-0 just before the stroke of halftime. Keon leads 1-0.
Keith Roy Freeman who scored his shot in the back of the net. Oh my gosh, I thought that ball was sailing wide, but the left-footed shot by Keith Roy Freeman had a lot of finesse on it and beat the goalkeeper for Flow 4GK and Rockets at his far post and leveling the game here for SL Horsford St. Paul's 1-1. Stumped upfield towards Freeman, and the goalkeeper for Keon is off his line, but it's now with Freeman, and Freeman with a shot for a ball. What a goal! Wow! Right.
This is unbelievable. This have to be
2-1.
Wow! The Keon fans have been stunned.
Pull off some big saves, and especially here with Freeman on the ball.
Unbelievable. 3-1. Just like that. To SL Horsford St. Paul's Football Club. Dixon.
Val just coming on within 20 seconds of entering the field. Being put to work, and he was beaten at his far post by Keith Roy Freeman, who scored a hat-trick, a second half hat-trick here by Keith Roy Freeman for SL Horsford St. Paul's to give them a commanding 3-1 lead.
After the match, we spoke to manager of St. Paul's, Darian Edmead, who showered praises on his team for their fighting spirit.
It is a crucial win for us, very important last game of the first round.
if you look at the fixture and the last couple of games that we would have played, you realize that, you know, even though we might have had a good showing, we would have dropped some games. Offense would be one of those areas in which we realized that the team was struggling. And tonight we're happy to see that, you know, after the first half, a game that we didn't really have much chances to see, we regrouped. We came out second half, down 1-0, and managed to win the game at 3-1.
In the day's other matches, Esgrave Newtown United had crushed Trafalgar South Stars 6-2. Imran Pontine scored twice for Newtown in the 8th and 55th minute. Siobhan Matthews scored an own goal in the 36th minute. Johannes Mitchum and Makanen Gums scored the other goals for Newtown in the 41st, 78th and 89th minute. Gums scoring a brace. For South Stars, Naldo Nisbet scored in the 5th minute and Kwande Rogers in the 12th minute. And then Fast Gas Saddlers came from behind to draw with St. Peter's FC 2-2. St. Peter's took the lead after Tariq Morris of Sanders scored an own goal in the 35th minute and Dionys Stevens in the 66th minute. But Kirkland Harris of St. Peter's scoring an own goal in the 59th minute and Nickwan Phipps scoring from the penalty spot in the 84th minute made sure Saddlers shared the spoils. And that will do it for this edition of the SKN Newsline Newscast. Remember to download our Android mobile app, search SKN Newsline in the Google Play Store. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and get more news and features on our website, www.sknnewsline.com. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching.